The global cheese market is worth $150 billion, with seniors being the most vulnerable consumers. There is a lack of warning regarding the detrimental effects on their health, as confusion proves to be profitable for the industry. Behind each slice of cheese lies a system that capitalizes on the decline of your aging body. Consuming cheese incorrectly after the age of 60 could lead to severe consequences on your heart, brain, and immune system without you realizing the connection. The dairy industry aims to conceal the fact that as you grow older, your body decreases in enzymes, gut bacteria, and cellular repair capacity. This means that the cheese that once provided comfort may now cause inflammation, a sudden 20-point spike in blood pressure, or 3 times faster artery blockage compared to younger individuals. Despite the risks, there are no warning labels or alerts present, just a cheerful cow on the packaging. A single hidden preservative, the wrong type of milk, or a seemingly harmless bedtime snack could result in blurred vision, weakened legs, all mistakenly attributed to aging. However, these symptoms may actually stem from a biochemically hazardous situation that you were never informed about. In this video, we will reveal the 6 most perilous cheese mistakes made by seniors, starting from the least to the most detrimental. The third most critical mistake could elevate your risk of fatal infections by 340%, often stemming from a common nightly snack among millions of seniors. This information is not sensationalism but backed by medical evidence. Every source referenced can be found in the video description below. Before delving into the topic, share your location and your preferred choice of cheese. Each comment will be attentively read and answered. Now, without further delay, let us begin with number 6, a single error in your refrigerator that could be silently impairing your digestion. Eating cheese that has been left out too long can be more dangerous than it seems, especially for seniors. Despite appearing harmless, consuming such cheese can be life-threatening for older individuals. Consider a scenario where you are enjoying a peaceful evening with a glass of tea and a couple of slices of your preferred soft cheese. Although the cheese has been sitting out on the counter since lunch, it still appears fresh. Unaware of the potential risks, you consume it without a second thought. However, the cheese may be teeming with dangerous bacteria that have rapidly multiplied. For individuals above 60 years old, their bodies may not possess the strength to combat these harmful bacteria. An example is Evelyn, aged 72, renowned for hosting exquisite Sunday brunches featuring homemade bread, olives, and an assortment of cheeses for her family. On a particular day, a platter of brie and blue cheese remained on the table for nearly 4 hours. Later that evening, distracted while tidying up, she indulged in a few cheese slices. Subsequently, 2 days later, Evelyn was found collapsed in her bathroom, experiencing confusion and a high fever. The diagnosis was Listeria monocytogenes, a bacterium that thrives in cheese kept at room temperature. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, seniors like Evelyn are 20 times more likely to succumb to this infection compared to younger adults. This heightened danger is attributed to the diminishing strength of the immune system after the age of 60. As individuals age, their natural defenses weaken, potentially rendering them vulnerable to threats that would have been easily handled in their younger years. Cheese, particularly soft varieties that are unpasteurized or high in moisture content, can quickly become a breeding ground for bacteria if left out for just 2 hours. This short time frame is all that is needed for the bacterial population to multiply significantly. As per the USDA, bacteria tend to double in numbers every 20 minutes in foods left at temperatures ranging from 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, temperatures commonly found in most households. One concerning aspect is that many seniors may not exhibit symptoms of illness until it is too late. Listeria does not always manifest immediately. It may take days or even weeks for symptoms to become apparent. By the time symptoms show up, it can result in brain inflammation, blood poisoning, or fatal meningitis. Seniors with conditions such as diabetes, kidney disease, or weakened immunity are at an even higher risk. So, what is the solution? Firstly, do not rely solely on your senses of sight or smell. Bacteria may not always produce a noticeable odor or visual signs. As a general guideline, any type of cheese, especially soft or unpasteurized varieties, should be refrigerated within 2 hours of being served. If uncertain about how long cheese has been left out, it is best to discard it. Even if it appears to be in perfect condition, that delectable slice of leftover goat cheese is not worth the risk of ending up in the hospital. Furthermore, it is essential to store cheese correctly by wrapping it tightly, placing it in the coldest section of the refrigerator, and labeling the date it was opened. Seniors, in particular, should steer clear of cheeses made from raw or unpasteurized milk unless their safety has been verified, as these types carry a heightened risk of listeria. It is surprising how many people overlook this, assuming it is just cheese. In adverse conditions, it transcends mere sustenance and transforms into a breeding ground for harmful bacteria. A slight oversight in kitchen hygiene could swiftly result in a life-threatening infection. However, there exists an even more insidious threat concealed beneath a guise of healthfulness. Despite its reassuring label, this particular misstep has the potential to undermine your entire circulatory system. Here's an example: opting for low-fat cheese under the mistaken belief that it is a safer choice. Many older individuals are ensnared by this misconception. The low-fat label seems indicative of a healthier option, doesn't it? Contrary to expectations, for those aged 60 and above, this purportedly beneficial alternative may surreptitiously disrupt hormonal balance, bone density, and muscle health. Curiously, this critical information often goes unmentioned. Consider Jerry, a 69-year-old man who, prompted by his physician's caution regarding cholesterol, purged his refrigerator of full-fat cheeses. He replaced them with gleaming packages of low-fat mozzarella sticks, skim ricotta, and reduced-fat American slices. Several months later, Jerry observed troubling changes: persistent fatigue, decreased muscle tone, more frequent leg cramps, and, most alarmingly, a diagnosis of early-stage osteoporosis coupled with critically low levels of vitamin D and testosterone. Here's the rationale behind these developments: that demonized full-fat cheese, enriched with crucial fat-soluble vitamins such as D, K2, and A, which necessitate fat for absorption. By removing the fat content, you disrupt the vehicle that conveys these essential vitamins into your bloodstream. Compounded with seniors' pre-existing challenges in nutrient absorption due to reduced stomach acid and aging digestive linings, a dual predicament emerges: insufficient nutrients and a compromised delivery mechanism. In 2019, a study published in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology revealed that moderate consumption of full-fat dairy among older adults was linked to improved levels of HDL, good cholesterol, and reduced markers of inflammation compared to those primarily consuming low-fat dairy products. Conversely, individuals relying on low-fat dairy did not experience a significant enhancement in cardiovascular health as suggested by product labeling. Furthermore, adequate dietary fat is essential for the synthesis of key hormones such as testosterone and growth hormone, both of which play a direct role in muscle strength and the prevention of sarcopenia. Insufficient intake of these fats can hinder your body's ability to recover from physical exertion, reduce the risk of falls, and even compromise basic mobility. The key takeaway here is to not be deceived by marketing tactics. Fat itself is not the adversary, but rather certain types of fats are. Older individuals should steer clear of heavily processed, low-fat cheeses with added ingredients, opting instead for moderate consumption of natural options like aged cheddar, Gouda, or full-fat Swiss, which have demonstrated benefits in supporting bone health, immunity, and hormonal balance. Be cautious of falling for the allure of flashy packaging that may lead you to forego essential nutrients your body requires. Lastly, a subtle yet significant oversight common among seniors involves the regular consumption of melted cheese from processed sources such as burgers or nachos. This practice poses a concealed risk that many unknowingly face each week. The appeal of warm, molten cheese cascading off a fast food burger or smothered atop nachos at a favorite local eatery can create a misleading perception of indulging in pure cheese. Rewritten text: it possesses a flavor reminiscent of cheese. However, what if I were to reveal that it does not contain any authentic cheese whatsoever? For individuals aged 60 and above, this imitation food has the potential to silently deteriorate your digestive system, impair your vision, and hasten muscle loss, all without any warning on its packaging. Allow me to introduce you to Linda, who is 72 years old. Despite her efforts to maintain a light diet during the weekdays, she viewed Friday nights as a small indulgence. Sharing a platter of cheesy nachos with her daughter and indulging in a cheese-laden burger at the local pub became her routine. Gradually, Linda began to observe that she experienced bloating more frequently. Her knees ached upon standing up, and her nighttime vision, particularly while driving, started to diminish. Although her doctor attributed these symptoms to her age, Linda remained unconvinced. Her subsequent investigation unearthed alarming findings. The vibrant yellow goo present on most processed foods does not constitute genuine cheese. Rather, it is a concoction of cheese byproducts, milk protein concentrate, vegetable oil, preservatives, and artificial coloring. This amalgamation is engineered to imitate real cheese while being more cost-effective and possessing an extended shelf life. These cheese-like substances are often legally categorized as pasteurized processed cheese food. Yes, indeed, it is not authentic cheese. Here is where the situation becomes alarming. A 2021 report issued in Frontiers in Nutrition disclosed that highly processed dairy products like processed cheese correlated with heightened instances of chronic inflammation and intestinal permeability, particularly among elderly individuals. Consequently, these food items compromise the protective barrier of the digestive system, enabling detrimental toxins to pass into the bloodstream, a phenomenon commonly referred to as leaky gut. Subsequently, a cascade of effects is set in motion, including increased inflammation, diminished nutrient assimilation, compromised immunity, and, notably, accelerated muscle degeneration. When coupled with the elevated sodium content and synthetic additives prevalent in processed cheese, this concoction culminates in a scenario conducive to renal strain, heightened blood pressure, and fatigue. These chemically enhanced cheese-like toppings provide no benefit to your bone health, vision, or strength. Instead, they deplete your body of essential nutrients crucial for preventing sarcopenia, rather than supporting muscle health. Let's set the record straight. In order to gain the advantages of cheese, such as calcium, vitamin K2, and muscle-supporting proteins, opt for authentic natural cheeses, steering clear of artificial alternatives that taste like plastic. Seek out blocks of cheese that list only milk, salt, rennet, and culture on the packaging. If it is encased in plastic, melts excessively well, or is labeled as a cheese food product, avoid it. The subsequent misstep is even more detrimental, occurring right in your own kitchen every time you improperly store your cheese. Before proceeding further, if you find value in this video, kindly hit the like button and ensure to subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss out on invaluable health insights like these. Number 3. Improper cheese storage within the refrigerator. Instead of enhancing flavor, you are inadvertently fostering bacterial growth. This error unfolds noiselessly, yet its consequences are alarming. While you may believe you are being cautious by placing your cheese in the fridge as instructed, a minor slip-up, such as wrapping it in plastic or sealing it in an airtight container, can trigger bacterial proliferation, mold propagation, and chemical alterations that endanger your gut health, cause joint inflammation, and heighten your immune system's response. In particular, for those over the age of 60, the body's natural defenses weaken against potential threats, like the dangerous pathogens that can cultivate within neglected cheese. Consider George, aged 69, who diligently prepared his weekly meals, including chopping fresh vegetables, baking fish, and enjoying slices of his beloved sharp cheddar for daily indulgence. George routinely wrapped any remaining cheese tightly in plastic wrap before storing it in a designated spot in his refrigerator. However, over time, George began to experience discomfort in his stomach after consuming the cheese. His energy levels plummeted, and one morning he awoke to excruciating cramps that prompted a visit to the emergency room. The culprit? Contaminated cheese containing Listeria monocytogenes, a bacterium that thrives in inadequately stored cheeses, particularly those of softer variety. Here's the scientific explanation. Cheese is a living organism enriched with beneficial bacteria vital for digestion, immunity, and cognitive function. Yet, when cheese is hermetically sealed in plastic wrap or subjected to condensation, it creates a damp, oxygen-deprived environment that fosters the proliferation of harmful bacteria and toxic mold spores. As detailed in a food microbiology study, under such storage conditions, bacterial populations can rapidly multiply even when refrigerated correctly. Upon ingestion, these toxins can significantly disrupt the gut's microbial balance, triggering persistent inflammation. This condition is directly associated with joint discomfort, impaired nutrient absorption, and increased vulnerability in older adults. The remedy is to wrap hard and semi-hard cheeses in either wax paper or parchment paper to allow for proper ventilation. Subsequently, place them in a loosely sealed plastic bag or a well-ventilated container and store them in the cheese compartment or vegetable crisper, avoiding the coldest area of the refrigerator to prevent textural deterioration and the accumulation of excess moisture. And for older individuals specifically, if your cheese exhibits visible mold, do not simply cut it off. Beyond the age of 60, your immune system may struggle to contend with the imperceptible mycotoxins that penetrate deeper than you realize. Mistake number 2 is particularly insidious, as it lurks behind a label touting low-fat or heart-healthy qualities, though in reality, it has the opposite effect. Consuming cheese too close to bedtime disrupts your sleep and covertly triggers inflammation. While cheese is often seen as a comforting snack before bed, that late-night nibble of cheddar at 10:30 p.m. may be surreptitiously inflaming your joints, escalating your blood pressure, and depriving you of the essential deep sleep crucial for cognitive and physical well-being after the age of 60. Take Harold, aged 74, for instance. Each evening post-dinner, he indulged in a few slices of Gouda while catching up on the news, deeming it a preferable alternative to ice cream. However, his sleep patterns began to unravel, leading to groggy awakenings, restless nights, vivid dreams, and bouts of leg cramps. His morning blood pressure readings showed an upward trend, and he found himself unable to dispel the mental fog. The culprit? His innocuous bedtime cheese routine. Cheese is rich in tyramine, a compound that develops as cheese matures. Tyramine incites the release of norepinephrine, a stress hormone known to heighten alertness and heart rate. While this effect may be negligible for younger individuals, seniors, particularly those with reduced melatonin levels or taking certain medications, could experience symptoms such as heart palpitations, agitation, and disrupted sleep. In a 2019 study featured in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, it was demonstrated that seniors experiencing poor sleep quality were directly associated with heightened nighttime catecholamines, a group triggered by tyramine. Furthermore, the consumption of cheese hampers the digestive process due to its saturated fat and casein protein composition. Consuming cheese late at night can lead to continued digestive activity while the body should be resting, thereby disrupting the routine overnight repair process, particularly for muscle and eye tissue regeneration during deep sleep cycles. Instead of focusing on healing, the body expends energy on digestion. For cheese enthusiasts, the solution isn't to eliminate cheese entirely but rather to consume it at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, ideally paired with fiber-rich vegetables to mitigate the tyramine impact. Additionally, choosing fresher, less aged cheeses such as mozzarella or ricotta is recommended as they contain lower levels of tyramine and are easier to digest. However, a critical error that poses a more serious health risk is the consumption of a particular type of cheese that can lead to arterial buildup and elevate the risk of heart attacks, namely, non-pasteurized or homemade cheese. This food choice is often overlooked by seniors and may have severe consequences, despite its seemingly innocent nature. Marketed as fresh from the farm, handcrafted with love, or reminiscent of ancestral diets, non-pasteurized cheese can pose detrimental effects on your gut, brain, and overall well-being in a matter of days. After the age of 60, the body lacks the ability to effectively combat the hidden dangers present in unpasteurized cheese. Consider Martha, aged 73, who attended her granddaughter's countryside wedding in the late spring. Amidst the festivities of candles, music, and a delightful spread of traditional dishes, it was a handcrafted herb cheese display that captured Martha's attention. With a reminiscent smile, she indulged in 2 pieces, evoking memories of her youth. Nevertheless, 3 days later, she collapsed in her kitchen. Rushed to the emergency room in a state of uncontrollable shaking, accompanied by fever, chills, and disorientation, Martha was diagnosed with Listeria monocytogenes. This lethal bacterium had infiltrated the seemingly innocent cheese. Unpasteurized and thus devoid of the bacteria-killing heating process. Particularly perilous for older individuals, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report that those above 60 are at a heightened risk, up to 10 times more likely than their younger counterparts, of facing severe complications from Listeria exposure. Beyond mere discomfort, once this bacterium breaches the intestinal barrier, it can infiltrate the bloodstream, brain, or the placenta in pregnant women. In elderly individuals, Listeria infection may incite septicemia, meningitis, irreversible brain damage, and ultimately high mortality rates ranging from 20% to 30% upon bloodstream invasion. The alarming reality is that Listeria can thrive even in refrigerated environments, negating the assumed safety of chilling unpasteurized cheese to shield against contamination. When consuming homemade or unpasteurized cheese, especially soft varieties like Brie Queso Fresco, Camembert, Blue Vein, or goat cheese, seniors, pregnant women, and immunocompromised individuals face increased risks due to potential harmful bacteria. Despite FDA advisories cautioning against such cheeses, they are often available worldwide without proper warnings, marketed under terms like artisanal, natural, or village-made. To ensure safety, always verify if the cheese is made from pasteurized milk by checking the label. For cheeses from farms or homemade sources, politely inquire about the pasteurization process. If uncertain, it is best to avoid consumption, as hard cheeses such as cheddar, Gouda, and Swiss are generally safer due to their bacteria-killing aging process. The risk associated with soft, homemade, or foreign cheeses is not justified by their flavor, particularly for individuals over 60. Listeria contamination in seniors poses a severe threat, leading to more than just stomach discomfort but potentially rapid immune system failure. Symptoms may manifest too late to prevent harm. Recognizing the significant risks associated with consuming raw cheeses, it is crucial to verify the pasteurization status of favorite cheeses before consumption. Given the potential dangers posed, especially for vulnerable populations, every comment is being carefully reviewed and responded to. Your feedback could potentially prevent others from making critical errors. Please consider liking and sharing this video with another cheese enthusiast over the age of 60, and remember to subscribe. This goes beyond culinary advice. It is safeguarding for your cognitive health, your immune system, and perhaps even your life. If you have any inquiries or thoughts, don't hesitate to share them in the comments section below. Thank you for watching.